time. Unchanged from last week, and that is the Baltimore Ravens. The reason why they're unchanged from last week is really we had nothing to go off of because they had a bye week, right? But as of right now, since their 5-game winning streak, they're a 500 team. They have lost to the Browns, they have lost to the Steelers, and they've lost to the Eagles. They have beaten the Broncos, Bengals, and Chargers. So right now, I am not in love with the Baltimore Ravens at all, but they are still a top 10 team in the NFL. Any given Sunday, they can turn it on just like that. And I think coming out of this bye week, we are going to see the true Baltimore Ravens come back that won that 5 games in a row. They are going to give Derrick Henry the ball over and over and over again. And that is why I do have the Baltimore Ravens sitting at number 9.
I think this is a good slot for them. Yeah, like you said, they haven't played well, especially up to their caliber. They're supposed to be higher on this list. They should be like number 5 because that's the kind of team they are. But because of the way they've played, that's why they're ranked number 9. So I agree. Or 8, whatever the number is.
9.
Number 9. Learn how to count.
Number 9. Miss Davis minus
I
1
agree.
nipple.
I got something in my eye, huh?
Well, maybe you should stop taking loads to the face.
Jesus, you guys are asses.
But no, I think the Ravens, like Mark said, their team skill-wise, paper-wise, should be higher up, but they seem to play down to their competition. They lost to the Raiders at home, and they lost to the Steelers this, a couple weeks ago, now coming off the bye. That was a game that they had to win. That was a game where I think that was the be-all, tell-all. Is this team legit or not? They don't use their two-headed monster the way they should, and I think their success is going to fall on, whether or not they ride or die on, Henry.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things about the Baltimore Ravens is I've kind of been saying this for the last 6 weeks or so, is I think they're more dangerous as this underdog, as this wild card team, right? Because the last few seasons, we've seen the Baltimore Ravens, the number 1 seed, right? Teams going into their house and they whoop that ass. We've seen them at the number 2 seed. Teams go in there and they whoop that ass. Now, what if Lamar Jackson can go on the road and actually start to win some football games, get that confidence built up a little bit without the pressures of being the number 1 seed, like without being the pressures of winning a home playoff game, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I do think the Baltimore Ravens will come around. They do play the New York Giants, and then they play the Pittsburgh Steelers again coming up in the next 2 weeks. Two very, very good games. I think this is where they need to get back on track. Now, if they lose to the New York Giants, if they lose to Danny DiNucci, because I think Drew Lock is officially out now with that broken elbow or whatever he has, or he just has a weak arm, but whatever. But the Giants are not a very good team. They have a decent defense, but they're not a very good team. If the Ravens lose to the Giants, they are done. The Ravens might miss the playoffs if they lose to the Giants. So I do have the Ravens at number 9. I think we're all kind of in agreement that's right where they need to be.
Yeah, and to go off of they could be a dangerous a dangerous road team, provided it was back to the Joe Flacco days. But I think back to, some of the battles that they had with New England. They always played New England tough during New England's dynasty, and they were usually on the road in those games. So, yeah, I think that they are a team that might be a little bit better on the road. Not having that home crowd advantage, definitely hurts, but, just pin the ears back and just get after it.
Yeah, exactly. Mark, any last thoughts before we move on to number 8?
I'm kind of like with you, what you said, dude, about how if they if they lose to the Giants, or if they lose to, because you said they play the Steelers and the Texans, and then they also play the Giants and then the Browns. But I feel like they could lose any one of those games, dude. The way their defense has been playing, their defense is shit, dude. So if they don't shore that up, yeah, they're gonna lose their seeding. They're gonna be like you said, they're gonna be a wild card team.
Yeah. On the bright side, the defense
wild card team that's gonna lose the rest of their games are the Denver Broncos.
On the bright side, the Ravens defense has been playing a little bit better the last 2 weeks, holding their opponents to underneath 20 points those last 2 weeks. James Frank says, Henry cut his dreads. Does that make him lose his magic? Mark, you know all about nice long hair. Does cutting your dreads make you lose your magic? First things first, why did you cut your dreads, Derrick Henry? That's kind of like his
He
staple.
probably did it because he wants a refresh, dude. Like, who knows? You know, people do weird shit. I don't know.
Hoffy, you have beautiful locks of hair. Do you lose your magic when you cut your hair?
No, instead of running 22 miles an hour, now he's going to run 25. So
That's kind of what I was thinking.
imagine
More
6'4", 250 coming at you.
What people do not understand is each one of those dreads probably weigh about 1.5 pounds, right? Because that thing was down to his ass, right? One of those dreads was like 1.5 pounds. That's probably 15, 20 pounds of hair gone. Hoffy's right. He is going to be faster. John says, then why don't you move them up? Because I think they will be better in the playoffs, John. I'm not saying this week or next week, but in the playoffs, they'll be all right. They'll be all right. Laura says, I ain't mad. Go purple. All about the purple. Derek says, who are locks in the playoffs? The Chiefs, the Bills, the Eagles, and the Lions are all locks in the playoffs. And this week you could see the Texans get a lock, and there was somebody else. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, the playoff picture is starting to come together. Jim Powell says, every team needs those losses as well as 14 wins. I die on that hill. They like not us against the world. All righty. I agree with that. Lose, 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 baby. James Frank says, LOL, if my Browns sweep the Ravens, I guess I can have a teeny tiny bit of happiness for the year. Don't give up hope for that. If the Browns sweep the Ravens, I think Baltimore might fall off into the Atlantic Ocean. Let's just call it. Let's just call it what it is. Josh Olson says, I'm not watching this tonight. I'm at an event with my wife, but here's my top 10 list. Lions, Chiefs, Eagles, Bills, Vikings, Packers, Steelers, Ravens, Commanders, Seahawks.
Nobody gives a shit what your top 10 is.
I was thinking about sliding the Seahawks up there, but look, he has the Commanders at number 9. So he's not wrong. He's not wrong. But number 9, I do have the Baltimore Ravens. Coming in at number 8,